This is Nina, Angelina. I don't even know what these people know me as. What do you call me now?
You know, it was always Nina. I couldn't get used to anybody calling you Angelina. That just always threw me for a loop. But it kind of depends on my mood now what I call you. I guess the important part is they know you're my daughter, and that's that.
There you go.
So,
That's me. I'm everybody.
so it's kind of a cold Saturday here in Ohio. The whole week was pretty nice, and then last night they had the parade, and of course it was cold rain. But the
Ah,
cool part was, I decided I was heading to bed early last night, and I'm hearing all this noise outside in one spot. You have to understand, I live on a main run. I go to look out my window, and apparently somebody nearby was part of the parade because it was actually the same two trucks I saw going to the parade when I was in that area. They still had their lights going, their Santas up, the music playing. It was pretty cool.
that's cute.
Yeah. I used to get into the parades. I had kids and then the grandkids, and then they all said, "Oh no, we're too old for this." So,
Hayden still
no, maybe next year we could talk him into going when you're in town.
goes. There's a really nice Christmas parade here that we went to last year. They had a lot of. Oh yeah, for sure. Caden likes going to that stuff still.
Yeah, but next
It's,
year he might be looking at us like we're crazy.
I don't know. He's pretty addicted to sugar, so as long as parades still mean candy.
All right, we might have something going on here.
Hmm.
So, any topics for today? We're kind of rough. We just recently had an active shooter about an hour away from us. It was kind of scary. Unfortunately, 3 people have died as a result. I'm not going to tell the guy's name because you know how everybody says, that 15 minutes of fame. I don't want to give him that. But I do want to say something to the people that lost their loved ones. We're really sorry. And this is a bad time of year to lose. I mean, it's always sad to lose anybody, but especially this time of year. But I want people to understand this time of year is rough on a lot of people. Depression really starts setting in. People don't know what to do. The only thing they come up with this man that went off his rocker, so to say, was he was being evicted from his home. And actually, the park manager was one of the ones that were shot and killed.
So it was in the trailer park.
Yeah. And it's rumored the police were called there earlier in the day. And unfortunately, it leads me to ask, were there any signs that they could have prevented this? And I'm not knocking the police department. I wasn't there. I don't know.
Right.
I do know in the end they had to see some pretty gruesome things. And I feel for them as well. The man's house is full of ammunition. When
Where was this at?
in Menor,
Oh,
yeah. When you see a house full of ammunition, in my opinion, it's kind of a red sign that there's something going on mentally with the person.
um, I don't necessarily agree with that, but it definitely is like depending on the person, you got to find out why they have so much. It would be the thing because my stepdad stocks up on it because he's like end of the world type, better get it all. But then there's people that are stocking up to because they have plans for something. So I guess it kind of depends on you need people who know the character person.
Or at least that can read into it. And
Hmm.
it can, and then that's the question too, though. Can you actually read into something? So I don't know. All I know is I feel really bad for everybody involved. The guy that did the shooting ended up taking his own life. And sometimes that leaves you to say, why not just do that instead of killing others? So I'm sure there's a lot of mixed emotions in this whole mess.
Yeah, and everybody wants to find a way that you could have prevented something when any tragedy happens. Like, oh, if somebody would have said something, if somebody would have did something, if some. But here's the thing: so even if his neighbors were suspicious, it's not illegal to have a bunch of ammo. So they, even if somebody called and reported it, there's nothing the police could have done.
Well,
Nobody's gonna
I'm
get out of
honestly
it.
not even sure where his neighbors fit into this, other than the fact they had to leave their homes for like 30 something hours. They had to be taken out of
Right.
there. But my thing was if the cops were really there, could something have been said or done to let them know that there was a red flag involved?
I don't think it would have mattered. Even if you know there's a red flag, all you can do is watch that flag. They can't have a cop sitting outside his house just in case he snaps.
That
Like,
is true.
I mean, so a lot of people put a lot of pressure on themselves as far as like, I knew that neighbor was creepy, or I knew something was off, or I knew he'd do something like this. But it doesn't matter because you call cops and say, hey, this guy is going to shoot up the place. So why do you think that?
Right.
Well, because he just is kind of a dick. He seems creepy. I know he owns guns and now he's mad. I just feel like he's going to shoot up the joint.
Right.
They
Right.
can't go arrest him for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand that. Uh, like I said, I just feel bad for the whole situation. It does say the man was like 47 and an army vet. So I don't
Mhm.
know if there was something involved there that mentally disturbed him. It's hard telling. Nobody ever knows.
Yeah, that is hard telling. They
But
like to use the vet thing for good, bad ways. That always comes up. And sometimes I don't think it plays as big of a part as people like to think it
and
does.
that's what I was wondering because I'm thinking, and I did. I found myself 47 years old. Where in the service could he have gone at this point that messed with his head? Just because I mean, I'm trying to be the logical one, and
Yeah,
even though there is no logic to it,
right.
but
Yeah, that's not really a bad time to be in the military, really.
I mean, what was the last thing that we were really active in? Was that like, mm,
Deserts.
and that's what
I don't. I
did
don't
I
want to say it sounds stupid, but I think
I
it was like Desert Storm or
and that's
something.
where my mind was, but I'm thinking, did I miss something in all of this? So anyway,
'Cause-
again, if you see somebody or hear somebody, even if you don't know them, and they're just chatting away at you, chances are good they just need someone to talk to. Take that minute, and maybe you can make a difference.
yeah, or maybe they just won't target you.
Uh,
Either way, it can't hurt.
Understood. On Facebook, a lot in November, you see people listing their things, and I've seen a lot. Most of it comes down to family and who's been there to support them, and
Oh, listing things they're thankful for.
yes, yes, and it's been wonderful seeing all this. Even people that I know, struggle with seeing, good things in life. Or this is the month that they seem to be able to list them and see them. It's,
They say it's good to rewire your brain like that. That if you come up with 10 things that you're happy about or thankful for each day, that you can reprogram your brain to think more positively rather than negatively.
yes, I
Because a
have heard
lot
that.
of us unintentionally program our brain to always go the woe is me negative.
Understood. I've been kind of in that mode myself lately, so maybe I should get
Yeah.
in there, showing my things because I do have a lot to be thankful for.
When I looked back at like my old Facebook posts, sometimes they'll pop up and I'll be like, oh my gosh,
Did
how
I
did I
really
have,
say
I
that?
was such a whiner. Like, shut up. Like, this was a bad day. This was a bad day. This was a bad. And it's like, now I don't even know what happened in most of those things that I was like, this sucks. This is terrible. And it's like, now it's not even on the radar,
Yep.
but it's funny how far you come when you get older, and something that you thought was a big deal is really minor, and
Well, like
things
you
you
said,
thought
so
you'd never
minor, you
get.
don't even know what that post was all about. You just figure you're being a crybaby, And I have the same thing. That's why mostly, right, when my memories pop up, I do my best to focus on my kids, the grandkids. Those are the ones I
Yeah.
like to share.
Well, and
Although,
sometimes we forget, like, just the fact that we have a home that's ours is a huge thing.
yes, it definitely is, because one, you have a roof over your head.
You're right.
Two, to go out and get a home and do what you got to do, maintain it and everything, that is most definitely something to be prideful about.
Yeah.